Hello, everybody, and welcome to Shonen N Chill once again. I am, of course, Zenrotto, joined, of course, by Oceans.
Hello.
I wonder how many more times I can fit, of course, in there. So,
Well, of course, we're here every week.
of course. So, let's just jump right in. What were your top threes this week?
Number one, I believe would have to be My Hero Academia, a rare win for it, as opposed to the number two, which is Jujutsu Kaisen.
Okay.
And number three, I'm gonna be weird and I'm gonna put Witch Watch on it.
Okay.
Yes.
That is
What
that
about
is weird for sure, but I like that.
what about you, my man?
My number one is really close. I think I am slightly on the edge of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Mm-hmm.
As my number one. My Hero Academia is my number two. Both very good this week. Both very close to one another. And
Mm-hmm.
then I think my number three is Phantom Seer.
Yeah, also very strong.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll go ahead and let's talk Witch Watch. Let's do it. That was the funky one. Let's go ahead and just talk about it.
Yeah, Witch Watch is kind of blowing me away in the sense of that it's nothing special, but I'm really invested for no discernible reason. It's just cute. Like it just feels sincere and cute and nice. And this chapter, like it's only chapter two, but it really kind of got me. It was like, okay, like they like each other, but it's not like super tropey or super cliche. It's just I am interested. I don't know if he's interested, but I'm not going to be a huge baby about it. Because she's like, "Oh yeah, like if something happens, it happens. I'm not super concerned about it." And he's just like clueless, which is cool. And yeah, like it kind of won me over just by being honest about how something like that would work. And then, layer on top the goofy fucking magic orcs witches kind of deal, and it's just fun. I enjoyed the chapter. I liked the I liked the joke where she's like, but maybe in time there will be a fire lit under him, and he's like, oh god, that building's on
Yeah,
fire.
immediately after she says it,
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah. Like
it looks like
I'm
a
interested.
passionate fire will break loose, and the very next speech bubble is fire has broken loose.
Yeah, yeah. So like, I'm excited to see where this goes. Like, if this does stick around and eventually turn into like a proper series with like an actual long form narrative, I could imagine myself getting kind of sucked into it because I'm into the characters. Like, I can't say usually when you have like romance couples like this one. You tend to have like one of the two that's really annoying or just stupid, but both of these are just I don't know, like I believe them when he's all like, this is a pain in the ass, and she's kind of annoying, but I'm dutiful after all. I'm like, yeah, that's okay. Like it's not overdone to a point where I'm kind of just rolling my eyes. It's the same with the girl as well. It's like she's not trying to win him over necessarily, but she's also not oblivious to the fact that they could develop something. And I like that. It feels more, I don't know, again, I'm overusing the word, it feels more sincere of an approach to a dynamic than I usually see in shonen romances. So yeah, that's pretty much most of the reason why it came into my top three. I was like, man, I did not expect this, and you're sticking in my mind now for the rest of the day. And it did after I read it. So yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's good. I like how she is like, you know how usually when you have a shonen romance, you have the one character that's not that into it, and they're
Mm-hmm.
usually like the stern one, the more like adult one, and then you have the character that's like the bubbly airhead idiot that's totally into it.
Mm-hmm.
She like fits that trope a little bit, but then constantly defies it by being like, yeah, she's actually smarter than she seems. She like plays around with it, but then when she
Mm-hmm.
actually talks about it, she's kind of well aware of the actual realities of their life and stuff, which I think is nice. So all
Mm-hmm.
the usual like outgoing tropey stuff gets kind of toned down by the fact that it's mostly her just kind of having fun instead of
Mm-hmm.
it being her actual character. I also like the
Mm-hmm.
jokes. I think it has really good jokes. It's one of the only other like gag series beside Mashle where every time they make a joke, I'm like, that's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the moment that won me over was when they're talking about how she shouldn't use magic in public, and I was already expecting like, oh no, she's gonna like start using it all over the place for like no reason just to spite him. And then she goes, look, I get where you're coming from, I really do, but you also gotta realize that me being cooped up is just not good for my health and my development. And I'm like, what the fuck? That's like, that makes sense. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that is a fine compromise. That's almost mature. And I'm like, okay, you got me there. Let's see what else you have. And I also like how I also already like the whole like element of magic in here, where it's like, oh, to stabilize your powers, you actually have to use them, and the way you use them stabilizes the way they manifest. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that means a good excuse to keep using magic that doesn't feel completely responsible. Sure, like I'm into it. So yeah, like I don't expect this to be my top three, like maybe ever again. But this week, just because it managed to kind of surprise me, I was like, all right, bet. Like you're really sticking around in my head. So yeah, hence the weird choice.
That's fair. I also really like the joke that when she casts the light magic on you that makes you
Mhm.
lighter, like not as heavy, it also
Mhm.
gives you a lighter personality, so you're like less dour. So they're
Yeah,
both like acting stupid the whole time it's on them.
yes.
It was really
when,
funny to me.
when he starts talking in like fucking white girl speech,
Uh
he's
huh.
like, "Oh
Yeah,
my
like
god."
yeah, like oh my god, she's a witch. It's like the guy. It was super funny to me.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah. The thing is, what my continuous enjoyment hinges on is if it a can keep this energy, and b if it can actually evolve into something, like if it can actually have a point at some point in time. Because like I feel like that is kind of my criteria for a lot of gag series. Because while gag series are fine and dandy, I can find myself super invested in them if they're not really going anywhere. That's why we
Yeah,
sit
it's
here
got to
every
be
week.
more than just the jokes. That's the Roboco issue with me, right? It feels like every
Mhm.
week I'm just reading like a book of jokes, and then I'm like, okay,
Yeah, if I wanted to do that, I'd just read Donald Duck.
right, exactly.
Mm.
Uh,
Did you have any Donald Duck comics when you were a kid?
I did not personally, but they existed in
Mm,
the
right.
world here. Believe it or
Yeah, I
not,
don't.
Disney did exist.
This, I believe we all know that they existed.
Indie
Um,
company Disney.
slightly less known company Disney and their incredibly niche mascot Ricky Rat. Um, yeah, I remember they were huge here. They were called little bag books, and they were. I don't even know if they were like translated or originally made up just for the German market. And I remember I had a huge collection of those. They were sick. They had like events and like crossovers. I remember there was like a 6-book event of where they're all mages and are basically reenacting Black Clover 10 years before it came out. It was great.
Damn it, we know where Tabata got it from now.
I can't believe it.
Can't believe this.
Okay, what's next on the menu?
Let's go over to Phantom Seer next.
All right.
Really strong this week again. Zero focus on the main two, so we get to spend some time with other characters. I
Mm-hmm.
really like the Tengu guy. Every time he does
Mm-hmm.
stuff, it's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
The combat in this series in general, I like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's because, Iori's powers can get a little bit generic, like the Shadow Sword or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But both of the characters in this that have like the familiars, I don't think they're all called Tengu, but they're just like Shikigami or whatever. Um,
Mm-hmm.
very cool. The whole dollhouse. I mean, we talk about the creepy like horror aspect of the art, but like the
Mm-hmm.
panel where he looks at his hand that looks like
Mm-hmm.
the doll hand, and the doll hand is drawn with like super crazy shading and detail, while the rest of him
Mm-hmm.
is not. Oh, it's so good. It's so creepy looking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's insane, and I thoroughly enjoyed this chapter despite not having the main character in him, which is actually a pretty good indication of how solid this series is, because a lot of Shonen Jump titles are kind of their main character, or at least that's like the cliche, right? So just having this chapter focus on these two was really nice. And I do love like the abilities that we're seeing. Like Tango Guy is cool. The idea that there's like familiars that synergize with each other, that's awesome. Because that opens so much cool shit for the future. Where it's like, there are mystical beings that come from similar regions or live in similar habitats and therefore can help each other out. Like that's good. That's cool. Um, I also, again, just like the pace of a lot of the combat encounters, where it's like setup, first attack, counter, second attack, finished. Like it's very quick, but and simple, but the actual steps of it are always so cool and so like compelling that you're like, yeah, I'm into it. I'm reading this. I'm having fun. Like nothing all that complex happened in this chapter. It was literally just they realized they were turning into dolls, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
But just it's presented in such a cool way. Like as you said, also the art and the way it sells that is just so good, just really really solid.
And see, for
Um,
me too, I love that in combat it doesn't abandon the horror elements. Like, because this
mhm,
was a pure combat chapter, and you still had, the creepy shots, like the little Chucky doll sawing her leg with that saw because it was supposed to be the
mhm,
doll leg and everything.
mhm,
And I like that the Shikigami in this are like their own the little Tengus are like they're like sentient. They're like helping him out
mhm,
as opposed to
mhm,
just being equivalent of like animals that he launches his attacks when they're biting on his arm and making it bleed so he can realize that it's still his real arm.
mhm.
Um, it was good stuff, and his little thing that he did at the end was cool. Came out of
Yeah,
nowhere, but it was cool.
yeah. Like I mean, I assume like it's just I don't know the ultimate Tengu attack, which like I'm fine with. I don't need I don't need a novel about how he acquired that, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's
it was
just
just a
cool.
cool little spear. It has wings on it, just like his little buddies.
Well, yeah, because I mean he does fight with a spear, right? So I assume it's just the ultimate Tengu energy or whatever he will call it next chapter.
Yeah, some
Uh,
some sort of Tengu appropriate chi or whatever.
mm-hmm. Yeah. But I'm also interested to see what happens with the main duo and like
Well, they're almost
where we're,
certainly coming back next week.
I'd assume so. I kind of want to see what they do, and I'm definitely interested in like seeing more of the villains, because now this chapter they were like, oh yeah, one of them survived a battle with the sister,
Hmm. I
which
also
that's
like that
like,
that's a testament to how strong the enemy is that they fought his sister and did not immediately die.
yeah, yeah, it's really cool. I'm liking how she's built up. Like throughout this entire series, she's kind of the power ceiling, which I like. I think power ceilings are a great way to handle the shonen problem. Like if you think again also about someone like Gojo or All Might, you just kind of circumvent the problem of, oh, how high can this series go? This high,
Hmm.
and
This
maybe
is the high
slightly
as
above.
it goes. Yeah,
Hmm.
maybe you surpass them, but yeah, it is good to always set. But the only thing with her being the power ceiling is that we don't know anything about what she does that makes her that strong. Um,
That's true, but I
yeah,
assume we're getting that.
I hope we get it soon. I mean, when was Gojo versus Jogo?
Oh, that was very early. That was
I
like chapter 15.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty early. And of
Mm-hmm.
course we get All Might in like chapter 1, and it just never
Mm-hmm.
stops. So they're established very early as like, wow, this is what the best can do. Less a little bit less so with her right now. She kind of to me just feels like she's this borderline like Goku omnipresent, like she's real strong type
Mm-hmm.
deal. So hopefully we get her fleshed out a little bit soon, or at least
Mm-hmm.
maybe we see the enemy that survived the battle with her, and we get some backstory on that fight or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, minor complaint. Phantom Seer kind of blows me away every week the past few weeks. It's been real great.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
like that. This is my last little thing. I like that Tengu guy likes his little Tengus or his little brothers.
Mm-hmm.
He likes them. He gets very offended on their behalf, which I liked.
Yeah, that's also cute. It
Yeah, it's
gives them
just a
like a
cute
little
little
bit of
character tick.
yeah, it gives them like a little bit of an additional like emotional hook, I guess.
Yeah, well,
Right?
I mean,
Like he's
it's
not just
always
a
good when
guy.
your characters can develop their personality outside of just how it clashes with the protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's good. I like it.
Mm-hmm. So what's the next dish? Do we want to go over
Oh
like something like
man, are we rock
Mashle?
paper scissors on this? Oh yeah, well let's save the big two for last, like we always do.
I'd
Let's
say
go into
so.
Mashle because we both always read Mashle ASAP every week.
Pretty much. Although this week I mean, in general, this week because I knew we were doing this a bit later, I was horrible with reading the chapters. They just kind of came out, and I read most of them today. Uh,
Well, when they
but
first came out, I don't know if anybody else had this problem, but I couldn't even get any of the pages they all just came up as missing images when they first came out for me for like 3 hours.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Like, I didn't run into it because I was just not paying attention. Um, but Mashle was, to everyone's surprise, still good.
Mm-hmm.
50th week in a row. Who would have
Still,
guessed?
still solid, still good.
Yeah. It's just kind of continuing the arc. Like, I think this chapter was maybe one of the lighter ones we've gotten in the last couple of weeks. Like, it was very much just getting from plot event A to plot event
Yeah,
B.
it was kind of a bridge chapter of just like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, we figured out how to get the keys, so now we're getting the keys and just finishing that portion. Like, I think every other character that gets their key gets it in like 2 pages of total
Yeah,
of them just
exactly,
grabbing the
exactly.
keys and moving on.
Although I will say I like that the first panel we see of Mash and his little friend is just them holding their hands up in celebration, like the goofy art style. Like,
Yeah,
they're
just
just
think,
celebrating.
yay.
Yeah, and we get a new villain whose name is Carpaccio, which is
Yeah,
just
I
so
kind of
fun.
like he's got a neat design with his.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way they're going almost Dr. Stone esque with these characters' lines. They're not just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, you have 1 or 2 straight lines on your face. Like everyone's super stylized now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I also think the artist is getting more confident in that. Like, it feels like we're getting a few more wacky designs these last couple of chapters. Like, also, if you imagine the music guy,
With
right?
the big musical note on his face as his line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Like, that's definitely a more inspired design. Speaking of inspired,
How do you even quantify how many lines someone has when it's a musical note?
I have no
Is
clue.
that
I'm
one? Like, what is this? At 2? All we know is it's not 3. That's all we know.
Yeah, like, I mean, I assume, because I was thinking, because the guy Mash helps out also has technically 2 lines on his face,
Hmm.
but they're not. I don't think he's considered a two-liner. At least we've not heard anything. So I'm kind of wondering if the lines have to be like close together and like parallel. If that's the stipulation.
Yeah, it's weird. Well, because they made a big deal about double liners before. And like this
Mm-hmm.
guy, the new guy, has the swirled line on his cheek, but then he's also got a straight line from his forehead down to above his eye. So like I don't know if
Okay.
that counts as 2 lines or as one. It's a weird power system because when you have these funky designs, it's hard to keep up with.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is a bit confusing, but I don't care enough about like the granularities of the power system quite yet to really be bothered by it. Like, you feel me?
Yeah, I think that combat has still mostly just been like, here's a cool spell and here's Mash punching the shit out of it, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Um, but when we
Oh.
start getting into more fights like we did with the brother when he
Hmm.
went Bankai, then we're gonna
Hmm.
have to start making a bit more sense of it, I think. Um,
Yeah, and I feel like we're approaching that transition because Mash ending this chapter by saying, "I've never met anyone who's stronger than me," and the guy just kind of looking in silence. I don't know if I should take that as foreshadowing that, oh, we're about to start seeing people Mash cannot just outmuscle without like preparation or any idea of what he's doing, um, or if that's just the fake out and I'm just the butt of the joke. Uh,
yeah, I mean, the gag in this chapter was mostly the one right at the end that I thought was funny is when he goes to throw
water.
the drink in his face and he like catches it in a cup and puts protein powder in it and shakes it up.
And it's like he's like, I don't mind if you want to make a protein shake, but you gotta stick to a schedule, bro.
Hmm. It's
I love
important to
Mash so
stick to
much.
his schedule.
I love Mash so much. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's great.
Also, they don't say protein shake, do they? They call it a muscle drink for the inside the chapter, right?
Yeah. Well, he says. Well, they say both. Mash calls it a
Mm.
muscle drink, but then his little buddy, the shittier of the two brothers, calls it a protein
Mm.
shake.
Okay, okay. I was because at first reading I only read the muscle drink one, and I was like, is there like a reason they can't say protein shake?
No,
But I suppose
they say
that's
both, and he says apparently it's homemade because he says the secret to a good protein shake is powdered beans.
I don't know. I don't know if that's
I
true.
don't know. I don't know anything about. Tell us in the comments if protein
Yeah.
powder is powdered beans or not.
I definitely did not participate in the protein shake and protein bars craze that swept high school back in the day. Like
Yeah,
I
it
remember,
missed me.
yeah, I was the kid that skipped gym class with his friends to watch the finale of Naruto.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. I would have had I been able to reliably skip gym class.
Well, I believe it was the last year of high school when the Naruto anime ended, and we were at the phase where like nothing really mattered anymore because we were gonna graduate anyways. So we just kind of were
Oh,
like,
yeah,
"Hey,
it was one of those like I'm supposed to be here, but why would I be? You don't have
yeah,
a real reason to
exactly,
keep me here. Yeah.
yeah, exactly." Actually, fun fact: I don't know if you have this tradition in the U.S. or if it's a local thing here, but here, on the last week before your graduation at high school, you have to like dress up in something crazy every day of that week, and of course, the final day you come in a suit. Um, and I remember me and my friends, we came in the Akatsuki cloaks. We were such dumb nerds.
Fucking
The,
dweebs.
yeah, but well, to be fair, there was a huge intersection between the bodybuilding group of friends and the anime group of friends. So most of us were actually not the dweebs. I was
Okay.
because I never really got super heavy into bodybuilding. Like I worked out with the guys uh, because it was fun and it was a nice thing to do over lunch break. But I definitely was the shortest and smallest out of the Akatsuki that came that day.
Oh,
Oh man.
Jesus. All right, well,
Rip.
that's as good a time as any to move over. How about Undead Unluck?
Yes. Where we continue fighting this big thing.
This big ass bug robot guy.
Yes. I like the strat that Andy proposed where he's like, if I cut him and you then do some damage to that cut, technically that cut should not repair itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's cool. And I like the little tidbits we get both on Foucault and on Rip. That's his name, I believe.
Yeah, his name is
Um,
Rip, which I think is hilarious. I love that his name
yeah,
is Rip.
his last name and Tear. Um, yeah, and I like the little tidbits here. Again, like it's not a super substantive chapter. Like it's mostly just the manga man died, and isn't that horrible? And now it's our duty to carry his will. Like it's kind of just a permutation of that, but it's sweet enough where like I liked it. Like I can't say I didn't have fun with it.
Yeah, I like
Um,
how hard Rip is trying to act like he's not just going to become a good guy here pretty soon. He's really doing his best to not, and he's definitely gonna,
he's
which is
like,
good because I
no,
like him.
no, I don't want to be piccoloed. Please,
No,
Mr.
not. I
Manga.
don't want to get defeat equals friendship. Please,
Oh no, I am feeling sympathy.
my emotions, my emotions.
Like imagine Foucault starts talking about like hey, like Rip, I know you act tough but deep down you're actually a good guy, and Rip is like, oh fuck, not this. I heard about this.
I would love it if he was just completely genre savvy, and just while she's talking, he's like, "Oh God, we have to get out of here. It's gonna happen. She's gonna talk me good."
It's like that meme. It's like whenever Naruto loses any of his fights, he just pulls out the all reliable, bro, we're the same.
You're just like me.
I too know what it means to be in pain.
And every bad guy's like, "Oh fuck."
It's like every time Naruto's in trouble, he randomly remembers his trauma and he's like, hey, we can bond over this.
I don't think I can kill you, so let's talk. Let's talk it out, bro.
like before every encounter, Naruto has two buttons: combat and and fucking friendship. And before he presses either, he like runs the numbers.
He's crunching the totals.
He like goes on YouTube and Googles Naruto versus Pain power scaling.
How many hexatons of TNT can Pain generate?
Oh my god, have you read The Way of the House Husband?
No, but I want to. It looks really good.
There's a scene in it that's so fucking funny. It's just a page, and like the guy is being surrounded by like yakuza people, very clearly itching to beat him up, and he's like just casually on his phone, like unimpressed. And they're like, "Ugh, "What you on your phone for?" And he's like, "Oh, nothing, punk." And then it shows his phone, and he's googling how many guys can one dude take reasonably.
Incredible.
I love that panel so much.
Oh my god.
No, Way of the House Husband is fantastic.
I need to read that ASAP.
When they start like, oh yeah, punk, how about I take you somewhere fun? Oh yeah, well, be careful, this dog, and he has like a big like war dog next to him. This dog's really packing a punch, so you better not provoke me. He's like, oh yeah, well, let's find out. They go to the dog park and have a fun day.
I think I've seen that one where they're like staring each other down and like, I like your dog, I like your dog, and then they just go hang out.
So, yeah, also it's getting an anime by Netflix this year, so
yeah, that's where it got like blew up on Twitter because of that.
Yeah, Way of the House Husband is super funny. But do we have anything on Undead Unluck? Because it really feels like a relatively
well, this one was mostly just a combat chapter. Other than Rip is definitely going to be a good guy here soon. But I frequently forget because I think I just block the early chapters out of my memory. I frequently forget how dark Fuko's backstory is.
Yeah, right?
Because she was literally going to kill herself in the first chapter, but it was played fairly comedically, I guess. In this one, it's like, her parents died and her grandfather died, and he was the only one that was nice to her, and she was literally just going to kill herself, except for reading this book. And I'm like, fuck, that's rough.
Yeah. I mean, I had kind of forgotten that the manga character was the one writing the story that kept her alive.
Yeah, I had not put it together that story was the one that she was reading, and I think it was just because of the schemitis I had for a while when I was reading this. Because I knew that the author wrote a series that she loved, but it didn't connect to me that it was the one that was stopping her from killing herself.
Yeah, no, I think it was stated at one point. Like, I vaguely remember that, but until today, I had just skimmed it back into the back of my head, like, bad case of schemitis. So, yeah, that's... I'm starting to feel like a lot of Undead Unluck is going to feel a lot better on a reread. On, like, a binge.
Undead Unluck definitely feels like if you start at, like, chapter 15 and just go, it's going to feel great.
Yeah, like it. I don't know, because that's the whole thing, right? That's the whole like conundrum. What is the real experience one should be judging? The weekly one or the binge one?
Right.
And I think the answer to that is just whichever is the experience that leaves an impression on you.
Yeah, whichever one makes you enjoy the content more. It's not like it's not the same content both times.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, we have such a tendency of like valuing the weekly experience to a higher degree, I feel like. But the weekly experience is a transient thing. Like, this exact chapter that we just read, no one will ever read that weekly again.
Yep.
Like, and it's so crazy to think about that. We're, for a lot of series as well, I judge them weekly, but that's not really how they will remain in reality for however long books exist. So it's one of those like one of those stupid literature quandaries that you start coming up upon when you start thinking about these things way too much.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to think that like inevitably more people will read it binge than weekly. Just like the way that time works is that unless you were present for that one specific week, you will never read it that way ever again.
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird because I think that, at least for me, it tends to be whichever one I experience it first. Like if I experienced it weekly first, that is what will always resonate with me, just because it was my first exposure. And that's probably, I feel like, the case for at least a certain amount of people. Just because I think most people's first impression is their strongest impression.
Yeah, I mean, very much
obviously.
so. That is,
Yeah. But it's just interesting to think about, like, is an arc being bad weekly a big negative, and is an arc being better on a binge read a genuine fix? Like, I don't know. It's interesting. And I would say yes. I think that if you can binge it and it's good now, then you should just do that. But I don't know. I guess everyone has their own answer to that question.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think my stance on it is just I live in the now, and whatever is bingeable right now, that is the definitive experience, and whatever is weekly right now, that's the definitive experience, because I'm the center of the universe, obviously.
Correct.
Correct.
This show is all that matters. It's just us.
Exactly. Hey, bro, you know what? When I come on here Sunday evening, Monday evening, just talk to you, we truly are all that matters.
Yeah,
there.
Pretty much.
I gave the shippers their cookie.
Okay, there you go. Congrats to everybody.
Right. Do we want to move on then?
Yes. Did you touch on Elusive Samurai at all this week?
Yes, I did. Why don't you go? What do you think?
Okay. I like it. It seems like it's finding its footing better and better every week. The characters are kind of becoming a little bit more defined, which I like. I like the creepy, like, that he's actually got divine powers, but also everyone's just sick of his shit, which is one of my favorite things. I love characters like that, where everyone's just done with them. And I like that I feel like the main character up to this point has kind of been more of a passenger than anything else to the actual events, because it's just been characters sweeping him along and telling him what to do. And we finally got a little bit where he kind of feels like he's deciding what to do, and he doesn't really know if he wants to do it. And I like that. It especially early on, it's super believable for me, for this little pampered kid who never had any expectations in his life at all, to be like, I don't want to fucking study and learn how to be the king. I was just going to sit on a throne, and advisors were going to run the country while I just fucked around and did whatever. And he's just kind of, he tries to run away from it, which is his whole shtick, but the guy keeps taking pitfalls. And he's like, oh, I knew where you would fall because I can see the future. But then you find out that they just dug like a trillion pitfalls everywhere. So he would inevitably step on one at some point. Oh, it's good. It's good. I like it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm definitely warming up to it more and more after its rocky start. I'm not super hot on the monk guy yet. I felt like in this chapter I don't know. I wasn't super in what's the word? It didn't grab me all that much. But he is funny, and I am liking where this is going. Like, if we're gonna see more, like a bit more of a dive into like the main character and how how his position as like this born to be a puppet situation influenced his mindset on life and how he overcomes that, that'll be cool. And if the monk guy can lean into both the funnier and the divine aspects a bit more, I think I'll also come around to him. But yeah, I mean, this one again was mostly just, moving along, kind of getting the story into a position where it can start, having an actual direction. Now that he's studying the academic and martial arts, whatever that means.
How to fight and count, I guess, is what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna call it. Fighting and counting. Kicking ass and taking names literally.
Monday morning, Pythagorean theorem. Monday afternoon, karate.
Yep.
Yep. I mean, hey, whatever gets you in a good spot. Kids, learn your Pythagoras. It is really not that valuable, but It's
I would
cool math.
argue it's almost zero valuable, but you will use it to pass tests. So
Exactly.
that's
I
valuable.
mean, I used the Pythagorean theorem last week while playing Minecraft.
Well, there you go.
There
If
you
you can
go.
apply it to Minecraft, then it's just, universal applicability.
Yeah, just in general, you can always use it. I mean, hey, you know what? I think Pythagoras might be the last time I had fun in math.
That's
Everything
fair.
after that was misery.
Yeah, math blows.
Like
Validating all
when
these high school kids that watch the show right now. Math sucks.
math apps, dude.
Sick
When we
guitar
started,
riff, skateboard flip. Math sucks.
we like spontaneously grow a snapback. Oh my god, when they started introducing limits and that kind of stuff, I was ready to fight someone. I hated that so much. And everyone was like, "Oh, it's so easy. It's just like a limit." And I'm like, "Bro, I'm about to limit your windpipe." Like, like
About to
shut the
limit your life in a second.
like, shut the fuck up. Like, oh man, I'm so glad I don't have to do maths anymore in my current major.
Yeah,
Like,
math blows.
yeah, what the fuck am I gonna count? Books? I can't count. I can
Gotta
only
count
read.
pages and words.
Mm. Well, I mean, when you write an essay, you do have to know how many words you have, but that's what you have Microsoft Word for.
Got him.
Got him.
Suck on
Uh,
that, math.
yeah, suck on that, Pythagoras. You old
Rendered
geezer.
useless by a $200 Microsoft product.
Who would win? The accumulated knowledge of 2,000 years of human ingenuity or one program that kind of works sometimes?
God bless the technological age.
Oh, wonderful.
Imagine if you
Um,
were learning Pythagoras on a piece of parchment paper.
sucks to suck, I guess, but we're built different.
Simply built different in
Yeah.
the modern era.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's not my fault. Y'all were born in the wrong time. Like, try harder next time, I guess.
Get
That
luckier
is
in the cosmic lottery next time,
that is
peasant
unironically
children
me
of the
with
ancient times.
that is unironically me with people who are like, boomers, vastly older than me, and people who are much younger than me. I'm like, well, should have been born in exactly 96.
Should have been born right when I was born.
Yeah,
If you want to enjoy things like I do.
like what the fuck? What do you mean you were born before or after me? Like, who gave you permission, huh?
All
we're,
right.
we're,
So speaking
we're,
of enjoying things except not enjoying them, let's talk about My Hero Academia Vigilantes.
oh, bro, I think I might disappoint you because I didn't hate this chapter.
Really? I thought it was boring as fuck.
I don't know. Like, one of the things that I like about Vigilantes is like the cute little thing Pop and Koichi have going on. Like, it's nothing crazy, but I like whenever it's invoked. So, the little speech he had about like the moon was kind of cliche, but I was like, oh, that is nice. And honestly, that is more emotions than the last couple of chapters Vigilantes have gotten out of me. So, by comparison, it is looking better. But I will say I don't like how this series characterized Tsukauchi as like the fucking worst.
Yeah,
He's
he's kind of a dick.
he is like he's just a really bad police officer. He's like, I don't care that they're helping people. They're not policemen helping people, and therefore it's bad. It's
I
like,
mean, I understand the logic behind vigilantes being criminals. Like, I get it.
mhm.
But don't you think you have more important shit going on right now?
Yeah,
Like, I
exactly.
get
Like,
going after him. It just seems weird to go after him when they're like, yeah, someone blew up like 3/4 of the city. But we have to arrest this child in this hoodie ASAP. I don't know. I think I just have issues giving a shit about
mhm,
anything that's going on because, like,
mhm,
I don't give a fuck about this cop guy. And if this cop
mhm,
guy arrests him, I don't care. Like, I think it's
mhm.
fine, like, if. I don't know. I was going to say I think it would be fine if, like, a hero got him, but then I wouldn't care about that either because I don't think that any of the actual heroes are in here for a reason. So I don't even know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, like I don't know. I feel like Vigilantes is just kind of spinning its wheels now and really, really trying to delay actually having to get to the final confrontation, because we know we've been known for like a year that this is the last summer of the crawler. So like one of these days he's gonna have to fucking do his last, whatever that means. So it really just kind of feels like throwing in extra fluff before the finale, which I mean, I would usually say I'm not a fan of that, but again, I'm not invested in Vigilantes enough to really care. So I'm just kind of like sitting there like, oh, this relationship I kind of like is doing a thing. I'm okay
That's
with
fair.
that. Yeah.
One thing that has
But
come out of Vigilantes that I like is that like 90% of the police force is just animals. For some reason, it's like all doctors are Mario characters and all cops are animals except for the one guy, which I'm
no,
fine with.
you see, Tsukauchi's actually just a closeted furry. That is why he joined
So
the
all the
police
cops
force.
are not animal quirks; they're just people in fursuits, and he just doesn't wear one.
He's their boss. He's like, Sansa, you're either coming in with your badge and the cat costume, or you're not coming in
You're
at
not
all.
coming in at all. Turn in your badge and cat head.
Yeah, when they fuck up, like your badge, your gun, and your cat ears.
I want your cat ears on my desk by 8 a.m.
Like Sansa, the cat guy, tries to say like, "Oh, this is quite the trouble," and like Tsukuroshi's like, "Excuse me, what did you say?" And Sansa's like, "This is quite the hairball." Like that's more like it. Like they all have to speak in furry coded language.
Oh, this is a real sticky hairball right here and right now. And this she's like, yes, it is.
Yeah, I bet it's a hairball, isn't it? That's why All Might is so reluctant to actually work with Tsukauchi.
That's why he doesn't want to call him.
Yeah, it's not because he wants to protect him. He thinks he's just a fucking weirdo.
He just makes him uncomfortable.
like Tsukauchi, I really appreciate your help, but could you please not purr when you're with me?
Oh God. Oh God, if he picks up the phone, I'd like to think that if you've seen the like cringe TikTok guy who purposely makes cringe anime TikToks, right? That looks like Vocal Pineapple.
Oh yes, I've seen him, of course.
So you know the growl sound that he makes?
Yeah.
All I can think of now is the cop making that noise whenever he picks up the phone when All Might calls.
All Might doesn't give Tsukauchi evidence anymore, because every time he does, his response is, "Oh whoa, what's this?" Nuzzles into you, feels your horrifying stomach scar.
He like texts him, and he's like, "Hey, I have evidence for you." And the response text is like in the little stars, and it just says "takes folder, little stars."
Takes folders in my little paws. My little police paws. Oh my God. He's definitely petitioning to rename it to the Police, isn't he?
The acronym is like the Police Alliance World or something, and then you look up and it's just PAW on the front of the thing.
It's like, I can't with these vigilantes stepping on our tails like that. That's why he has a grudge against like the lizard brothers, because they're scalies and they don't get along.
Oh, because they're not furries.
Yeah. Actually, I don't. Believe it or not, I'm not savvy on the internal politics of the kinning community.
No, I can't say that I know either, but that would be very funny if there was a rivalry between mammalian and reptile.
I mean, you know what? I got a rep for my guys, the reptiles. Like, Look, mammals are cool, but none of them can literally like throw off their skin when they feel threatened. I
That's
mean,
true.
I mean, if you know anyone who can do that, that's cool. Report them to the hospital. Um, but yeah, reptiles all the way. This is for my fellow scalies out there. Uh, stay cold blooded. I'm doing like hand signs, but this is not face cam, so no one can see them. So this one kind of fell apart, didn't it?
Hey, if you need to throw your camera on so that you can make a sign to your people, by all means.
Well, I don't have my webcam on right now.
Ah,
It's in a
damn.
box. It's in a
Camaraderie
box.
destroyed.
When I'm in the new place, I'll put on my webcam and I'll do like a sick reptile gang sign.
Oh god.
I'm sensing out of this that we really don't have anything to say on
No,
Bigs, do we?
whatever. It
Yeah,
exists. Still alive.
it
Still making
stu-
copies.
yeah, stupid. Um, is there anything left before the big cheese?
I don't think so. I Tell C, I read that again. It was actually pretty good. It's actually getting kind of decent now, which is
Mm-hmm.
nice. It's a
Okay.
lot less squicky than it used to be.
Okay.
Um, I did not read Nine Dragons Ball Parade.
Oh, me neither.
Yeah,
Like that's
it was a
that's
sports
the new.
series. I checked out immediately when I saw that it was baseball.
Yeah, no sports series allowed.
Hmm.
Sorry.
I did
Sorry,
not read
people who
Build
like.
King.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
neither.
no, I sure didn't. Doctor Stone was good, still good consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Stone is one of those ones that I feel like is never bad. It's just always quality, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Yozakura Family was real good. Magu-chan was funny. The I swear to God, you would like this because it's all just stupid humor. Like they're
Okay.
fighting a giant sea dragon this whole time in this whole chapter, and then they end up yanking the sea dragon, and he pops out of the sand, and he's just like a little crab with a giant sea dragon for a hand, and he's just self conscious because everyone makes fun of him for being a little shithead crab.
No,
Yeah, that's his
no.
whole character.
Oh no, I do. Maybe I'll check it out just for my fellow crustaceans.
It's it's cute. You'll like it.
Okay.
Did
All
you read
right. Maybe I'll.
Sakamoto Days?
No, I have accidentally dropped it.
Okay, well it was fine.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
it's consistently fine.
Okay.
That
Yeah,
that was
I
about
like.
all I have to say about it. It was fine.
Yeah, like I keep doing this shit where I just forget to continue with it, and now it's been I don't know how many weeks that I haven't read it. So, like, I guess it's dropped. Like, it's
Fair
in the
enough.
same
It's
same. It's the same hellhole as Haikyuu,
the ocean's void of just
the ocean.
series that are good but still are not getting peeped.
Oh man, I watched the first episode of Haikyuu like 4 times. Not because I like it, but because I just every time I try to start it, I'm like, this is good. I will watch episode 2 tomorrow, and then tomorrow never came.
That's fair.
It's
All
not
right.
my fault. I don't care about sports.
All right. Let's
Like,
go to the big cheese, as it were. We'll
uh,
start with Jujutsu Kaisen this week.
all right.
Good shit. We're getting some politics, some new characters because we killed every old character, so we have to
Yeah.
get some new characters now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got some Zenin family members, and then they're reading the will because the dad got one fight and he's dead now.
Yeah, but like I feel like that's okay because like
That's
his
fine.
technique
Yeah,
wasn't super crazy, so I didn't
and
need to see much more.
I'm interested to see what their techniques will be because they're supposed to be hereditary, but none of them inherited the 10 shadows, and neither did Naobito. So I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if the Naoya, who is the son,
Mm-hmm.
who is supposed to inherit, basically because Jujutsu politics is where we're going now. Um, Originally, the new character Naoya was supposed to be the new head of the family, which I suppose means he's the strongest one.
Mm-hmm.
Unless Gojo is out of the picture. If they fail to rescue Gojo, then he can no longer null the agreement between Toji and Naobito to get Megami into the clan. I don't know how
Mm-hmm.
the deal is still active because Toji never got paid, and he's dead now.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So because Gojo is gone, actually, what is supposed to happen is Megami is supposed to become the clan head of the Zenin
Mm-hmm.
clan, which, of course,
Mm-hmm.
the new guy, not real thrilled about. So apparently Megumi is looking for Yuji in
Mm-hmm.
the wreckage of Shibuya right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so Naoya says he's just going to go there and kill both Yuji and Megumi at the same time, make it look like an
Mm-hmm.
accident, and be like, "Oh no, not the guy who was going to take my position. He's dead." Oh,
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the higher ups of Jujutsu Society be pretty bold in how they go about things. So, like, I assume that would not be out of the order.
no, I mean he pretty much made it clear that like it doesn't matter. He's just going to just
Yeah,
do it, and it makes no difference.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, I like the way he says it. He's like, yeah, so Tokyo's just turned into a battlefield. So, like, whoever dies, dies. It really doesn't make a difference. So, yeah, like, I'm definitely interested to see how Naya ends up fitting into this.
yeah, I
We
wonder.
also
Based
got
on the last page, I wonder if there's going to be like a brawl. They're all just going to find each other at the same time.
I mean, dude, if we get like a multiple way fight between Yuji, Choso, Yuta, Megumi, and Naoya, like, oh my god.
I would be all about that.
Like,
I need
oh
to
my
see Yuta
god.
fight for real. It's just someone. And I wouldn't
Yeah.
mind seeing Yuta like paste Naoya as his like I'm here now. I'm here and
Mhm.
I'm awesome fight.
Yeah. Also, fun thing, we also got Ogi and Jinichi Zenin, and Ogi is the dad of Maki and Mai. Or the granddad, depending on which translation we want to trust, because apparently there's a bit of confusion there.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Well, no, it's not. It's not the Twitter thing. It's genuinely that there seems to be an ambiguity there in the original Japanese text that Wiz has on different occasions translated differently. Uh,
Okay.
so it's unclear. But he is in either case. He's either their granddad or their dad. I kind of would have gone with the dad. Like he looks to be like about 50.
Yeah,
And
he doesn't look like principal of the Kyoto school old.
yeah, exactly. So which is also interesting because I wonder if he might have a version of Mai's cursed construction technique.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because he has like a sword. That's the extent of it.
Yeah, he's got like a katana on his waist. Um,
Mm-hmm.
man, Naoya sucks. I really don't like him. What an asshole.
Naoya's, Naoya's first line in the series is literally "fuck women."
Yeah, literally the first thing he says is like misogyny time.
Like it's so it's so on the nose, but it also like establishes him so quickly. It's actually kind of great. And I mean, for the Zenin family, I think it makes a lot of sense considering how like concerned both Maki and Mai are about what like being a woman in Jutsu society means. I
Hmm.
mean, Mai more than Maki, but still, right? Like this family seems to be very patriarchic.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
so I mean, he literally says any woman that cannot walk 3 steps behind her man just needs to be stabbed in the back and die. It's like, whoo,
Which
buddy.
God, yeah, we're just
Like,
goddamn.
whoo.
We
I,
also have got some confirmation that Maki is not dead yet.
mm-hmm,
She's critical condition, but still alive.
mm-hmm,
Oh
mm-hmm.
man, I wonder if he's gonna say so. If they all meet up in Tokyo, I wonder if he's gonna say some shit about Maki and set Yuta off.
Oh my god, yeah, you're right.
If
I
he talks some shit about how like they maybe they'll be in just some big fight. I don't know. Megumi will be fighting Yuta with Yuji to protect him or whatever, and he'll show up and then he'll say something about I got to kill you, and then that Maki will be dead, and then Yuta will just go off on him.
I mean that's considering he seemingly wants to kill Yuji just because Toge lost an arm. Like yeah,
And I mean, remember
it,
in JJK Zero, he literally beat Geto to like the point that he could barely move, just because they
mhm,
were hurt. He even healed them, and he still like obliterated Geto.
mhm,
Uh, I don't know. I like Yuta a lot, and I
mhm.
really want somebody to beat the shit out of Naya already. He's been in like 10 panels, and I need somebody to destroy him. So it'd make me very happy if it was Yuta.
Yeah, yeah, same. And I really want to see like all the Zenins fight. Like, I want to see what Ogi can do. I really want to see what Jinichi can do because his design is awesome. And like, that panel where he attacks Naya, he literally goes from fully clothed to shirtless in like the blink of an eye. And like, these are all like a grade 1 or special grade 1 sorcerers, presumably. So I'm interested to see like what kind of crazy shit we're gonna keep seeing,
Yeah, I
especially
mean,
now
I
that
wonder, like, because their techniques have to be at least semi-related to what we've already seen, I would assume, unless they have all inherited from, like, their mothers, I guess.
I mean, that's the thing. It seems to be kind of random if a technique gets passed down. Like the way I've been kind of trying to wrap my head around it is kind of like, as long as you're of the blood of any given family, you have the potential to inherit its main technique, but it's not a guarantee, and you might just get born and get like, the typical randomly assigned technique.
Okay.
Because like, most curse techniques are, or almost all of them are just
Hereditary.
carved,
Or
yeah, hereditary.
they're
So
like,
or
yeah, they're inlaid from birth, yeah.
yeah.
And
So
Megumi hit the jackpot, which is why Naoya wants to kill him.
mhm.
Um,
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Um, and man, if Megumi does end up like seizing control of the Zenin clan, that'll be interesting too. Because if that happens, um, like let's say the next arc does not end with Yuji being absolved of his crimes, but it does end with Megumi basically having being forced into the position of head of clan. Because obviously, like the Zenin clan doesn't exist in isolation. There's the entire Jutsu society that like pushes and pulls together with them. So like, I wonder if we might end up in a situation where Megumi becomes the main representative of the Zenin clan, and they're like, okay, bet you have to go and execute Yuji now, and if you don't, it'll be an affront to the other big families, and like the Kamo clan and shit will start wrecking your shit,
it's
and you
just
don't want
weird
that.
though, because like, how much power does the head of the clan actually have? Because isn't is good Noritoshi? He's actually the head now, right? Or is he still the heir?
No, he's the heir. He isn't the
He's
head.
still the heir. I thought that he had actually like gotten power by now. Okay,
No, no, I don't think so. I mean, how would he? Like, there's no one of the Kamo clan has died since his introduction. And we've not. I don't remember if we ever like checked back up on him where he was like, "Oh, I am now the man." I don't seem to remember anything like that, so I wouldn't have assumed so.
but it would be interesting too if Megumi becomes the clan leader and then is like, yeah, we're taking Yuji in, and you can't fuck with us.
Oh my god! And imagine if that happens while Naya is still alive.
Yeah,
Like if they
I
don't
don't
actually kill
imagine
him.
the way that Naoya is introduced. I don't think he's going to be like a bit villain. Like he has stick around energy to him.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
that's just a baseless assumption. But also, I feel like we really need more characters because they're all dying. So
yeah,
we
yeah.
need
Like
some
it's a
more
bit.
people to exist in the cast.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. And I mean, now that the it's interesting because now that the Curse family is gone and Ghetto is obviously being saved for last, I would have assumed. Um, it's interesting that we immediately get like this new villain group essentially.
right.
Uh, which I'm wondering if we'll get more. If this might be like the Yuji persecution arc, and we just get like droves of these assassins that
I
serve as both.
believe what I read was that it is in fact called the Execute Yuji arc. Um,
Oh, really?
well, I read it on Twitter from one of those various accounts, so I don't know if that was made up or not. But
Mhm.
damn, if that's the case.
Okay. Well, I mean, in that case, perfect. Like, imagine that we might get more like assassin.
Yeah, yeah. One thing that I hope that we get, it would almost be interesting, at least to me. We've said interesting
Of them.
730 times since we started this, but um, I would like to
Uh-huh.
see, after having to deal with like the Curse family up to this point, that we shift to almost like a Jujutsu Society bad guys for a while. Like,
Hmm.
people need to start picking some lines in the sand, and we get some extrapolation on the Zenins and the Kamos, and I I guess the Gojos don't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
because I think Satoru
Yeah.
was the only one. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which, like I told you, how fucked up would it be if, because Megumi was adopted by Gojo, he would be the next heir to the
he's
clan?
both. I wonder because I mean, Yuta is distantly related to Gojo as well.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder if he could make some kind of stance about that, but I don't know. That's more politics than we've gotten so far. We don't know that it's going to even go that way at all. It might just go to like Megami. But Megami
Yeah.
becoming the head of the Zenin clan has like so many implications outside of just Naoya is cranky. Like I am currently operating under the assumption Maki is not going to die. Just
Mm-hmm.
because they have if she was going to be dead, they'd have just said at the beginning of this chapter, "Oh, she died." Right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason to
Yeah.
say she's still alive and then be like, "Oh, she died now." You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm under the assumption she's going to still be alive. And
Mm-hmm.
you got to wonder how she's going to feel if she wakes up and Megumi is the head of the clan.
Oh yeah.
When her whole thing
Well.
was that all of the shit that she went through was because she said she was going to come back one day as the clan head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it definitely puts them into pretty interesting positions. Um, and I also think we might start getting more of this stuff just because now that Gojo's gone, the society can like actually matter.
Can
Because
function
before,
without
yeah,
him saying fuck everybody.
yeah, because like before, society, like any society arc happening before the Shibuya arc couldn't really have gone very far because the moment they overstepped their boundaries, Gojo would be yoink and like eat their atoms for breakfast. So now that
Right.
he's gone, there's room for that kind of stuff. And I'm interested. You mentioned Utah. And I'm interested where that's gonna go because I remember seeing a couple of people like theorize that maybe what he has is like it looks like Rika, but is like a cursed manifestation based on the limitless technique, which some people have managed to find like parallels in how it's used in like the little snippet we got. And like while it's not the most substantiated thing in existence, I'd be up for it. Like, especially since the link between Gojo and Yuta is explicitly canon,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, like, yeah, that could be interesting.
It's possible.
Um,
Yeah, I could see that. I was under the impression that his specific technique was the copying.
mm-hmm.
But I mean, I get that could just be something that he has because he didn't necessarily get. Or if his technique is the copying, maybe he just figured out how to copy Rika and just manifest her again. Just like I still want to know what that even is because he
Yeah.
intentionally didn't show it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like, if it's a power that he just calls Rika out of affection, or
Mm-hmm.
if there is some reason that she came back. I saw some theories that, like, her soul came back because he was in trouble
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, which I don't know how I would feel about that, but maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But damn, if she is back and him and Yuji fight, that's going to be a ridiculous fight
Oh my god.
between
Like,
Rika and Sukuna.
can you imagine the fucking Yuta and Yuji are fighting, and Yuji's like pressuring him. Yuta just like unlimited void or some shit like that. Where he's copied
Immediate
Gojo's
domain
ability.
expansion.
Yeah. Oh my god, Yuta probably has a domain expansion, doesn't he?
I would assume so because he's a special grade, but I mean, the other special grades other than Gojo have never used theirs either, despite
Yeah.
having a decent reason to do so.
Well, might also just be that their domains tend to have special effects that weren't useful necessarily in that situation. Also, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say that Ghetto versus Utah happened before Gege had finalized the idea of domain expansions. Like I'm not.
Probably, but it's interesting that even in the actual, how many times am I going to say that? How many times am I going to say it? It's like I've never done this before. Um, to me, it seems that Geto prefers the alternative technique, the Uzumaki technique, because he does it in
Mm-hmm.
Shibuya too.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been plenty easy to just drop a domain expansion and destroy everybody, but he didn't
Mm-hmm.
seem to want to do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, then again, you also need to remember domain expansions seem to use a lot of energy, so maybe maximum is just more efficient in cases like that. But I mean, we don't know. Like, hell, we barely know anything about the maximum family of techniques, right?
Yeah, other than that, we just found out it technically. Well, I guess if you were super attentive in Zero, but they didn't call it that
Yeah,
in Zero in the translations that I had read until the officials came out.
yeah, and I mean, even if you did, like, it was one technique, and it was easy to just read it as, oh, the technique is itself is called maximum Uzumaki, and not
And it's just a thing
maximum.
that Geto can do. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, oh my god, I'm still so horny for seeing like Gojo's maximum if he has one.
It's just straight up gravity manipulation. Complete, like, just whatever he wants.
I mean, what can it be at this point? Because he has the black hole in blue. He has the repelling force in red. He has the literal atomic disassembly machine in purple, and he has the unlimited void. He has limitless. Like, what else is he gonna have? Like,
He
his
just straight up
maximum.
takes away your gravity. You just float away. He
Nah, you know
just
what?
steals it.
You know what? You know what? His maximum technique is time travel.
That's how he gets
It's
out of the prison realm.
it's the one dimension he hasn't fucked with.
He
It's
time
the
travels back to right before he gets caught and saves himself.
I mean, you know what? While time travel does sound memey, like if he has some sort of time dilation ability as his maximum, although I don't know if that makes sense because maximums are kind of introduced as like these, meathead big blast attacks, right?
Yeah,
With
it's like
additional effects.
the what did he call it? It's like the strongest example of the basics of the technique.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, maybe Gojo's maximum is purple, and he
It's
just hasn't
possible.
called it that. Yeah, because I know that he at one point calls the blue attack that he does against Toji calls that maximum output, but I've had it confirmed to me that it doesn't use the same kanji as maximum, so I assume that's not related.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know because I mean I don't know how you what is the strongest application of limitless as we know it. Like limitless
Um,
on its own without blue or red is not inherently offensive.
um, maybe it would be like
Unless maybe it is. Maybe it's just blue.
yeah, or like a super powered blue
Yeah,
or purple, like or maybe it's like because limitless is all about like slowing things down in its most fundamental form, right? So it's like maybe maximum limitless it just slows you to the point where you're frozen in time.
like he
Oh my
applies it
god.
to you instead of it happening when you get close to him.
Yeah, maybe he can just freeze like one or two people in time. Like maybe that's how he gets his time manipulation powers.
I'd be there for that. I'm there for
Gojo the
Gojo doing
world.
anything, man. It's been like a year and a half. Just give me something.
Hey, I mean the anime is soon gonna reach him using purple. So,
Yes, need that.
oh, I need that so
Need
much.
that.
Uh, like I think one of the directors mentioned in an interview to look forward to Gojo's scene. So, buddy, bro, I am.
You know we are. We already are. Everybody is.
Like we're just waiting. I mean, well, the Kyoto Goodwill event arc is just great in general. So like, it's not like we're just waiting and watching mid. We're
Oh
always
no, yeah.
feasting.
The exchange event's incredible.
Yeah,
Um,
and I mean, next week or this Friday we're getting the Black Flash.
yes, we are finally getting the Black Flash for the first time, which is
Yeah,
gonna be sick. I assume.
I can finally start dropping all my saved Toto memes where he
Been waiting
asks
for
random.
this.
Now draw her using the Black Flash.
Oh god.
I
So,
want to know what happened to Toto.
well, I
I wa-
assume that Yuki picked him up because she said that by way of apology, she's going to take responsibility for taking everyone back.
Mhm,
So I assume Toto was among those that she took back,
mhm.
but that's just my
Yeah,
assumption.
yeah,
Um,
because like it's keeping the like direct consequences on the actual people of Shibuya quite ambiguous. Like we know Toge lost an arm, we know Maki is on death's bed, we know Mai is injured, we know Naobito is dead, but everything else has been left really ambiguous. Like they're not.
yeah, it's kind of like we're covering it like one chapter at a time.
Mhm.
Like Yuta came back, and we got the people related to him, Now it's the
Mm-hmm.
Zenin chapter, and we know what happened to the Zenins that were hurt. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if next week we're gonna get like a, oh, they're coming to arrest the president or the president, the principal, and then we're gonna
Oh
find out
yeah.
what happens to the other Tokyo students, and then it'll move on from there, or what? We're
Mm-hmm.
getting it very slow drip as to what happened to
Mm-hmm.
everyone that was ambiguous at the end of the arc,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Yeah.
painful.
Yeah. I mean, do I even say it? The one you're waiting on.
She's fine. She's fine.
She hashtag she's fine.
Hashtag she's fine. Everything's fine.
There were people the last time we said this that were deliberately hashtagging it with she's not fine.
I know. I know. I should have banned all of those people, but I didn't. I had mercy.
Okay, that's good. Let's hope Gege has mercy on you in
Oh
turn.
God, I earned it. My good deed. So, how do you
um,
feel about Choso and Yuji's little team up? Because Yuji seems to be very on board with it now, because he's in hyper depressed boy mode.
yeah, I mean, like I don't have a problem with it. Like it seems appropriate where he's so done with everything, like so down on himself that he will just kind of take any company. Like that's a fucked up thing, right? The reason he's with Choso is because he doesn't care about him. And so because now Yuji has started seeing himself as a liability. So if he were to be a danger to Choso, it wouldn't matter as much because he does not really have any love for him. And I feel like that's at least what I got out of it. And if that is the actual case, that makes the whole like brother brainwashing situation so much more horrifying. Like Choso is ready to risk his life for someone who's like, "Oh, I don't mind if I go berserk and accidentally kill you. Let's rock."
Yeah, it's weird to me that he literally says that, oh, it was just a misunderstanding that you killed my brothers, which, like, no, he executed them very
Yeah,
dramatically.
yeah, but I mean, I suppose that's again just to show
It's
how
just,
thorough the brainwashing is, right?
and it was creepy too, because like in the beginning when it was first happening, he was acting like he was aware that it was weird, and then
Yeah.
I guess it just, like, in the process of taking effect, he is now just completely gone down the brother rabbit hole with it. That's a
Hmm.
scary power, dude.
It's a super scary power, and it's the rule of threes, right? Yuji has accidentally used it on three people, on two people so far. So who's gonna be the third, and what will that herald? Because like doing it three times with no change up is probably not going to work. So I'm assuming the third time it'll fail, and then that's when we'll get like uh the big conflict there. Like I wonder if he'll try it on, or if he'll accidentally try it on Yuta, and
That is
then
a
what?
theory that I have seen a lot, is that he's going to accidentally, or whatever, do it to Yuta, but then the Rika spirit will prevent it from happening,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah.
will clue us in that it's an actual technique. It's not just like some shit that happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And or Yuta will get the ability to copy it, which would be insane.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. Like it would definitely be quite interesting because interestingly enough, whenever it has happened, it has always happened with like people Yuji isn't much weaker than, right? Like with Toto, he was outclassed, but he wasn't like it wasn't a huge power gradient, and same with Choso, right? Like they were in the same ballpark, even though not like on the same level.
right.
So I wonder if that has something to do with it, because obviously, like it's so weird when it happens. Like it could have happened against Ghetto, but it didn't. Um, there's like no clear pattern of when it happens aside from Yuji's in trouble. So
Right,
like,
but
and
I mean, it doesn't happen every time he's in trouble, so
exactly,
that's only
uh,
so much of a clue too.
exactly. Like I'm kind of scratching my head, right? Like there is nothing about it, and it makes it feel so much more mysterious and so much more terrifying. Because it's kind of like a bomb waiting to go off, because all that needs to happen is for Yuji to accidentally brainwash the wrong person
Mm-hmm.
and brainwash them in the wrong way, because so far he might have been lucky and all the brainwashing was always something that was unambiguously positive for him and not much of a hassle for anyone else. But like, what if he brainwashes someone really dangerous into being like obsessed with him? like what do you do then? Like, you're lucky Toto is a fucking goofball, and you're lucky that Choso is kind of a depressed emo guy who doesn't care about anything aside from his brothers. But what if he brainwashes someone who's like really violent and who's like violently obsessed with Yuji? He's like, oh, I will protect you, and to do that, I will just start murdering people or whatnot. Like, this is a very extreme example,
Kind
but
of sounds
like,
like the relationship between Uraume and Sukuna, to be honest.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like, where will this lead? Where will this lead? And what? Because I feel like Gege isn't done with making Yuji suffer. Like,
No,
I'm
it
definitely
doesn't
feeling
feel
more.
like he is. And
Hmm.
I like that we finally got some acknowledgement that Yuji is aware that Sukuna is after Megumi. So,
Hmm.
Yuji knows about that.
Hmm.
And I like that he's still sitting on his depressed, like, I killed those people, not Sukuna, it was
Hmm.
me.
Hmm.
And I like his little face scar. His I'm a
Hmm.
sad boy now face scar.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's good
very
stuff.
cool.
I wonder if that's going to go away, like he's going to get it healed when he's finally welcomed back to everybody and he
Hmm.
loses his Edge Boy face scar, or if he's going to keep it.
Hmm.
I hope he keeps it. I think it looks cool with it.
It does look very cool. Also, another thing I just realized, because um, Geto knows about Megumi, and he knows that Sukuna wants Megumi because he specifically mentions that at Jujutsu High a bomb has been planted for Sukuna, and it flashes to Megumi, right?
But I think the implication wasn't that he knew it was Megami though. I think that he knew it
Okay,
was a student, and that's why he said don't go killing random students because we
okay,
don't know what's going to set him off. You could hit the
okay,
wrong one.
okay, but still, the word planted really kind of, because I reread or rewatched that scene recently, and like, I wonder how Toji fits into that, because now we see that his agreement with the Zenin clan had an additional like clause that we hadn't heard of before. I'm wondering what else he did, because it seems like he had much more foresight than was initially like implied. So I really wonder what the deal is, right? Like, what's the deal with Megumi?
It's
Like,
my next YouTube video title. What's the deal with Megami Fushiguro anyway?
Megumi Fushiguro explained, and you just read the wiki article.
Oh man. Um,
Um,
Another thing
but
I want to talk
yeah,
about with Toji and Geto, I'm like 99% sure that Brain Geto is not going to be around forever, and we're going to get
you
old
think?
Geto back.
You think?
It just seems like they set up a lot really hard in all of Shibuya that the body and the soul are the same, and
Mm-hmm.
you can bring people back from the dead via either one. Because when
Mm.
Toji's soul gets put into that other sorcerer's body, the whole body mutates into him. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like it's the lumpy little dude that can fight like Toji. It was Toji.
Yeah, yeah, because they say like, oh, his soul is just as strong as his body because the soul and the body are the same thing.
Right, and so he's so strong that he overpowers the guy that he's in, and he basically just brings himself back to life.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when he sees Megami, he calms down, and he offs himself again.
Yeah.
Um, but like, there's the obvious one where the hand just starts choking Brain Ghetto's body
Mm-hmm.
to fight back. I feel like I have not been able to find the chapter, but I've seen it on Twitter as well. That like it's not drawn to attention, but there's another panel where Brain Ghetto is holding that wrist and like struggling
Mm.
with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah,
So
I think I know what you mean. I feel like I've seen that as well
yeah, where
online.
he's like just talking about something different, but he's
Mm-hmm.
got himself by the wrist. Like it looks like he's holding his
Mm-hmm.
arm still.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think we're getting Ghetto back at some point.
I mean, that would be interesting because, like, because I do feel Ghetto's whole ideology was built up. Well, it was built up so like extensively in Star Plasma Vessel. I feel like it would be almost a waste for him to never come back. Um, but we also seem to have a lot of substance going for Brain Ghetto. So I'm wondering if Ghetto won't kill Brainiac, but will force him to move bodies or move hosts.
and he has to
And so we'll
leave.
have like, yeah, we'll have like a three-sided situation where we have Jujutsu Society, you have Ghetto's organization, and you have Brain Man and his union with Uraume and maybe Sukuna.
Maybe, but
Like,
then we have no brain for Geto to function with.
it regrows, bro.
Just
What do you mean?
the
Is
soul pops the brain back.
this
Although Geto has idol transfiguration now.
that? Wait, that is true. Wait. Yeah, that opens a lot more doors.
Not only does Geto have idol transfiguration now, but the only part of his body that he's been able to take back from Brain Man is a hand.
You can't see it, but my eyebrows just shot up. Like, wow, yeah. I'm feeling the plot. I'm feeling the plot doing this.
The plot has thickened, as they say.
Well, yeah, Yuki is here.
That's true. For all of 26 seconds, but what a 26 seconds it was.
Yeah, I do find it cool or interesting that we don't actually get to see the end of the Shibuya fight. Like, we just cut to after it, and like we get a little blurb on Yuki that she dealt with it, but we don't actually get to see what she did, and we don't get to see how Yuji managed to like properly get out. Like, we assume Yuki let him go, but I would have thought that there would be a bit more to that, so that she doesn't get into trouble and that she can actually give Yuji some sort of advice, and also that she can reliably separate Yuji from
Well,
Todo.
I don't know that Yuki acknowledges any of their like authority, because as she
Oh
outright
yeah.
said, "I'm not on your side. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not really on anybody's side." So I don't think she gives a shit if she gets in trouble,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
the way that it's shown is they're outside of wherever they were fighting before, and she has her
Mm-hmm.
little moment where she says, "I'm sorry that I let things get to the point that they were. So this is what I'm gonna do. What are you gonna go do?" And then we cut to Yuji and Chozo on the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
So I assume she just took him out of there,
Mm-hmm.
or moved. Like maybe she had her whatever her little pet thing is, help the kids
Mm-hmm.
and get them rounded up while she took Yuji away. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I don't know if she even knows that everyone's after him already, or she probably put it together based on
Mm-hmm.
just her knowledge of her general jaded cynicism toward the whole world. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it does seem like when she's having that conversation with him, they're already well beyond the fight. It's already been over,
Mm-hmm.
and all we get is that tiny little panel in the middle of the flashback where you see the curses and there's Geto standing in the middle of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all we get. It doesn't show her fighting him or anything like that. So I guess Geto just pieced out. She killed all the
Mm-hmm.
little stuff that he let out, and then she bounced with Yuji and let him make his own decision.
Okay. I suppose, I mean, that's what's being implied here, but I do definitely want to see like more of like the immediate repercussions of this incident. And I wonder if we'll ever get back to it. Like, it feels conspicuously empty for a conclusion, right? Like, it literally just like smash cuts to the consequences. And I'm wondering if there's like if some sort of conversation happened or something happened that like that will have consequences in the future, and we'll only get to see it in like flashbacks when it becomes relevant. Because also Yuji's like depressive demeanor is a bit more like evolved than it was the last couple of chapters. Almost as if he got like an additional piece of info. Maybe that's just, hey, you're about to get executed. But I don't know if he knows that. Like, he doesn't bring it up. He's just like, oh, I can't come to Jutsu because I am dangerous and not because they want to kill me.
Right.
So I guess we'll have to see. But that's the fucking bad part about it. I don't want to wait. I want the next 17 chapters now.
I want all of it right now.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, Akutami, can you just like finish it? Like, I want 200 chapters on my desk by Monday.
I want the whole conclusion done. Yeah, I don't know. Again, every chapter I feel like there's just something else going on, and now there's just more
Mhm.
shit to think about, and it just
Yeah,
never ends.
yeah, it was so good. Like, oh my god, This is such a great segue into the next arc. Like, holy shit, just with 2 chapters, the amount of stuff Gege has like set up now can carry us for another 130 chapters easily,
Oh, for sure.
right? Yeah, that's insane.
I mean, I think we're heading toward a fight in Tokyo because Yuji said he's staying to clear
Mhm.
out some of the cursed spirits that are still there.
Mhm.
Choso's staying with him, obviously, to help
Mhm.
him. And then you've got Naoya's going there, Yuta's going there, and Megumi is there somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's also interesting that Yuji's goal now seems to just be kill as many cursed spirits as possible. Because it is like straight up the follow up to what he said to Mahito before he died.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so interesting because oh, I will defeat all the bad guys is such a noble goal, like such a stereotypically noble goal, but he does it almost more to cope than for any like good reason. Like it's literally just I don't really have a purpose and I'm a danger to anyone I love, so I will just do the one thing I know how to do, and I will just do it because I know in 100 years maybe it'll have purpose. Which that is certainly a direction to take your jumpy shonen MC in.
Oh man, Yuji's so depressed.
And so are we.
Yeah, yeah, we are all the time.
I need Megumi to come in and let him pet the dog, and then
Please, for
everything
the
will be
love of
fine.
God, let him pet the dog. He needs something, man. Just let him have something, anything.
One of Megumi's 10 shadows is just like a really cuddly cat.
That's all it's for. It's just the old Scrubs sketch where the cure for the illness is a box of cats. That's just one of his. That's one of his Shikigami.
Yeah, one of his Shikigami's main ability is just emotional comfort. I mean, dear God, they need it.
Yeah, man,
Like,
this
you
has
might
been
as well
just
invest.
endless pain, suffering.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of pain and
Um,
suffering, what a great segue
oh yeah, what a
into
great segue.
My Hero Academia. This will probably be the last chapter we talk about this week because we're out of all the good shit. This is it.
This is it.
Uh, damn, shit kind of hit.
Whatever Hori's been eating for the last 2 weeks, I need him to never run out. Like, holy shit. The Todoroki subplot went from really great to fantastic in these last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Like,
Jesus, they're really going in the
yeah,
best way. In the best way.
yeah, it's just deliciously complicated. Like, now we're seeing the perspective, and it's like Endeavor wasn't just evil; he was misguided, which eventually turned into, you know, a really shitty attitude. But it was also like the interplay of him putting expectations on his son, and his son misinterpreting them in like a really strong way. And it was also Ray like stepping in too late and not really knowing how to deal with it. Like, where do you even start?
It's
Like,
just a clusterfuck of just unbelievable proportions. Like, so you've got Toya, who, like, his dad is basically filling him, right, with all of these dreams of this is what you're going to be. You're going
mm-hmm,
to be better than All Might, and you're going to be the greatest, and you're going to carry on my legacy, etc. And then it's super fucked up to do that to a
mm-hmm,
kid and then be like, no, you can't.
mm-hmm,
You're worthless. You can't do this one thing I told you that you were going to be able to do your whole life, and so you need to just get out of my face. Stop doing it. Go
mm-hmm,
be an accountant and give
mm-hmm.
up.
Yeah,
Especially because he's like, how old is he right there? Like 9 tops.
Toya is 10
He's 10
because
at
he
that age.
is
Okay,
because I believe he's 10 years older than Shoto.
okay.
But the thing is like all of what you say is how Toya interprets it, right? But Endeavor's angle is not nearly like as abrasive. Like the way he talks about it's like, oh, I need to get this idea out of him because it will only cause him harm in the future because he inherited his pigheadedness from me. And when he's like, imploring Toya to go and play with his siblings, to do literally anything but, but force himself to use his quirk, that does not really read like a parent being, "Oh, you're useless, go away." It reads like a dad being concerned,
Well,
which
see,
is
it
weird.
is, but I think that's the difference between his intention and the results.
Mm-hmm.
Is because to him it's he's got to stop, but there's
Mm-hmm.
no way for Toya to interpret that any other way.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're told from birth that you're going to be this great thing, and then he's like, "Oh, sorry, you're not going to be that thing," and
Mm-hmm.
he's spending the whole time telling him like, "Go hang out with your kids with your friends at school, and go be
Mm-hmm.
normal." And then he's like, "Well, everyone at school wants to be a hero too." It's kind of looping back into the Deku problem in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
Deku wants to be a hero and he's got no power. This kid wants to be a hero and he's got a shit power.
Mm-hmm.
And the only difference is that his dad has told him his whole life that he's gonna be the guy. You know, he's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be the new Hokage and he's gonna do whatever. And then the dad's like, no, not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has the really shitty idea of, oh, you know what will make him stop if we fucking get him a replacement. Which is maybe the worst idea I've ever heard in my whole life of how to
That is
resolve this problem.
that is true, but I actually really like that is a thing that happens, because one thing that's really low key about Endeavor and that I've liked since the beginning is that, and it's not really emphasized, but Endeavor is a social disaster. Like Endeavor has seemingly no understanding of how people work beyond just, oh, this is how I solve criminal cases. Like, the scene where he is doing he's doing the engagement, right? Like he looks and talks like such an awkward idiot. And I feel like the way he treats Toya and the way his intentions like ill translate into reality are just a great example of just how bad he is at like understanding what he's doing and like what his how his intentions affect reality. And like obviously that doesn't absolve him whatsoever. Like he's a grown ass adult, right? Like he should know. But it is interesting to see that there is this sort of consistency, because I believe the implication is that it is this social idiocy that also cost him the number one spot. That he could never really become the people's man like All Might, because he just doesn't know how to be a man of the people like All Might, right? So I like how it kind of infects all parts of his life, and it's just so fucking good, man. Like I'm loving this shit. I'm loving it so much.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that my issue is that Endeavor is 50-50 on why he's telling the kid to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's telling the kid to stop out of concern for him. Like, you need to
Mm-hmm.
not do this anymore because it's just not good for you. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, we get the panel of, he says, we got to have another kid to make him
Mm-hmm.
stop doing it because then he'll give up. And Ray
Mm-hmm.
says, no, we're not going to do that. And his response is, no, we got to do it because he's never going to be the one to surpass All Might.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the second kid, whatever the angry one is, Natsu?
Not Natsuo, yeah.
Natsuo, that's what it is. And then, the first, you see Toya's reaction to it is obviously not taking it well.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just see Endeavor getting more and more pissed off, and
Mm-hmm.
Ray getting more and more just sad and defeated by
Mm-hmm.
this whole situation. And then you have baby Shoto, and their three faces are like, that physically upsets me when it
Yeah,
shows the
their
three of
three.
their faces over it, where Endeavor's like excited and Ray is just like, I'm done, just fucking
Mm-hmm.
stop. And Toya is devastated because
Mm-hmm.
he realizes that this is the one that's going to be better than him. It
Mm-hmm.
got what they wanted out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you just see
Yeah.
him saying like, I can still do it. I can still do it. And the end result is just the dad saying like, it's not even like, let's do things together other than being heroes. It's, you got to give up on being a hero, go play with your other kids and go to school, get the fuck out of my face. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I got to train
Yeah.
this other hero child. I don't have time for this shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? Like what you mentioned, Endeavor is such a fucking torn character, because he has, and especially at the beginning, he seems to have elements of like an actual caring person, And this kind of lines up with what we saw in the earlier flashback of Toya when we see him be like amicable with him, right? Um, but then he also has, of course, the fucked up side, which we can literally on the page physically see him lean more and more into, which I think is really cool. That as he gets more pissed off, he gets like that look in his eyes that the wind guy from the other school complained about. He said, "Oh, his eyes were full of hate,
Mm-hmm.
and there was nothing in them, only ambition and nothing else." Like you can literally see that happen in this chapter, where he goes from just looking like just a dude to looking like an actual monster. And it's such an interesting like transition, and I believe we are probably going to see the point of no return next week. Because
Probably.
like yeah,
That's what it
because to
seems
this
like.
point because to this point it doesn't seem like Endeavor has been bad to his family beyond, a manipulation. Like I don't think any abuse has happened yet. Doesn't seem like
I
it.
mean, he
Otherwise I
did
feel like
seem to at least coerce Rei into having children against her will,
that's true,
which
but
is not
again,
great.
that's not great, but that is one of those rabbit holes we can't really get into without major assumptions, and
Yeah. All,
that's a
all we
big
know is
topic.
he said it and she said no, and he was like, "Nah, we got it. We got to do that."
Hmm. And she eventually,
And she eventually agreed.
yeah, but like at least like the whole like oh Endeavor beats his family for a living, that hasn't happened yet.
Not
So I'm
yet. Well,
assuming,
we haven't
yeah,
gotten there.
I'm assuming the trigger will be when he has to push Toya down from attacking. Like I'm assuming next chapter will start with a flashback where Endeavor like pins Toya to the ground, and that's the first time he uses physical violence on his family, and that's the slippery slope. Because I mean that is how abuse is in real life fundamentally. It starts off with one incident, and then people just get, or the abuser just gets comfortable with it and
Hmm.
starts turning to that solution. Um, and this just seems like a perfect setup for it. What I am curious though is that we still have a missing link, because after this incident, Toya needs to still be normal enough to be able to play soccer with his siblings, because we've seen that in Todoroki's first flashback. Um, so and and nothing obviously can happen really. Like no one can get hurt too badly. Um, Unless of course Hori retcons it, which that would be a fucking shame. Like, dear God, no. Make it all fit together in like an interesting way. So I'm
Right. I mean,
really
I assume that
curious.
he's not just gonna have like a mental break and it's done. Like there'll probably be a
Mhm,
confrontation with Endeavor, and then he will, I assume, back off for a bit
mhm,
and just kind of
mhm,
become a little bit more brooding. And
mhm,
then it'll be a pot kettle situation where eventually he just overloads again, and then
mhm.
the whatever happened to Toya incident happens.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, we do see the place this chapter in which he will eventually, quote unquote, die. Saikano Peak, which is where he trains with his fire. And where he also eventually self-immolates, seemingly. So yeah, just a lot to take in. Like it's insane that Hori is actually committing to tackling this fully. I kind of still can't believe it that we're doing this, because it feels
Yeah,
like
it
the
was
kind
one
of
of these
thing.
things where I thought he was gonna kind of gloss over it a little bit more than he has, and it doesn't seem like he has. He's willing
Mhm.
to just get it done.
Yeah, yeah. Like he's just like this is only part one of the flashback, and I'm assuming the next one will be part two. We might even get a part three, and then we're definitely getting a chapter called Toya Todoroki Origin, because that's just how the story works, right? Like the origin chapters always happen for the important characters when they're important. So
Right.
I'm assuming we have at least one more flashback after this concludes next chapter. Um, and yeah, like Jesus, I am in for it. Like I'm absolutely here for it. I have been saying it forever. The Todoroki subplot is a perfect example of a side story almost sort of usurping the main plot.
Yes.
Yeah,
Big
like
time.
like I am invested in the main plot, but I will say I can get, good versus evil conflicts in a lot of shonen. I can't really get something like this in most shonen.
Yeah, not
Like,
really. I mean, we kind of talk about it with Jujutsu Kaisen and My Hero every week, where it just feels like there's more there, and it makes sense. These are much longer running series than a lot of the other stuff that's still up right now.
mm-hmm,
But like, for me, the good versus evil stuff in My Hero is almost like not even there. I'm like,
mm-hmm.
mm-mm. Like, I don't care. I don't care.
Uh-huh.
But this shit is like, oh my god, it's so good.
It's so good, and it's part of the reason why I hope that Toya becomes a secondary main villain, right? That he becomes sort of the second big force they have to worry about next to Shigaraki, or All for One, whichever of them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
fucking
Oh yeah,
goop
I almost
face.
forgot
Yeah, great.
that shit was happening.
Sorry, I'm
But
too busy enjoying good content to remember that fossil.
sorry, I'm too busy following actual good characters to remember that stupid guy.
There was one good thing, happy thing that came out of this chapter though,
Uh-huh.
and that is this derp ass baby Shoto. Is the best picture. It's my favorite picture. He's just like, his brother's trying to kill him, and he's just like, I have the full head of hair that I will have. I just look like adult Shoto, but really tiny.
He's just Stewie from Family
He is.
Guy.
He's just Stewie with Shoto's hair. It's great.
Which would make Endeavor Peter Griffin.
Yeah, it fits.
Mm-hmm.
It fits.
I need that fan art.
It probably exists somewhere.
It absolutely
it has
exists.
to exist somewhere.
It absolutely exists. But yeah, no, I mean, also another cool thing in this chapter is that we see Dobby like just chilling in like a villa. And one thing, he has more burns now. Like he had to restaple his skin further along his body. Like the burns on his arms at the beginning only went up to his knuckles, but now he has stapled that skin all the way. At the beginning, it went all up to his wrist, but now he has stapled it all the way up to his knuckles.
Yep.
And like the one on his face has now started like going over his cheek as well. Like he looks nasty.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, he's
looking
always looked
bad.
nasty, but
yeah.
he's
also
gross.
Also, we know where he is because the villa he's in is the villa where the League of Villains kills the quirk racists in My Villain Academia. So it seems like they just kind of appropriated that as a safe house.
Might as well. If it
Yeah, I
belonged
mean,
to quirk racists.
yeah, I mean the fucking quirk KKK.
Nobody's coming to the defense of the quirk racists. So
No, Shigaraki's like, I literally decay people, and even I'm against racism.
yeah, even I'm not down with this. It's like that old comic book, the Marvel DC crossover, where the Joker draws the line at working with a Nazi. That's where he won't continue.
He's like, look, I may be a vicious mass murderer, but if you don't agree with Black Lives Matter, out of here.
Someone says Blue Lives Matter on his team, and he turns on them and fucking decays them.
No, he doesn't decay them. He sits them down for like a long talk about the horrors of the industrial prison complex.
It's like the one thing that he's mature about is like equality.
He's like, I have to destroy society, but not before I elucidate you on the dangers of Kamala Harris's position in the government.
I have to tear down society, and this is why, because of the systematic oppression of people and less means. So like, this is the leftist revolution after all. When they say,
"Oh my god,
for the revolution," it's been Shigaraki the whole time.
Oh my god, like All for One is like his conservative grandpa that tried to radicalize him, but it accidentally went in the wrong direction.
It backfired. Like, what the
fuck? He's like, that's why he's in control again. He's like, what the fuck? Stop being a fucking commie, son.
Yeah, he's like trying to get him to be another shithead billionaire, and he's like, no, down with the bourgeoisie.
He's like, Tomura, you surely must see the importance of wealth. Shut the fuck up, you bougie pig.
Oh, God.
First, I will take back my body, and then I will take back the means of production.
He just starts taking down every like private prison in the My Hero world.
That's what they did.
I know. It's gonna keep doing it. It's gonna take them all out.
Yeah,
they're gonna go and destroy cities, but they're only gonna destroy like corporate buildings. They're not gonna destroy any small businesses.
He's like, oh yeah, you know what? You know what's even worse than the suffering I faced throughout my life? The incarceration rates of people in minorities.
It's that scene of him and Deku at the mall where he's got Deku by the throat. But instead of him talking about whatever he talks about, he says, did you know that the incarceration rate for crack rock versus powder cocaine is 80% higher because white people are more likely to use powder drugs?
MHA, except every time when Shigaraki and Deku meet, they don't fight. Shigi just recommends them some leftist literature. They're secret left buddies. Their secret Marxist book club. And Deku can't let his class know because they're all like asshole rich kids. Except Uraraka.
Yeah,
who he's slowly
Uraraka is also, he's slowly converting her.
He's like, oh my god, Deku, can we train for being heroes? Like, can't you see you're a victim of capitalism?
Can't you see your parents are suffering under this system?
We do this every week, man. Every single week we manage.
Is this better or worse than Best Jeanist, though?
I have no clue. I mean, Best Jeanist, we've went over this, but he is definitely a man of the people.
Oh yeah, Best Jeanist is for sure.
Yeah. I mean, she's like, I'm living without one of my lungs because I can show the people that I will not like spend $1 billion for an extra lung. That'll probably ripped out of someone else. Oh my god! Like, where does Redestro fit into this? He's just he's just a stock market.
Redestro is like one of those. He's the dude that cried on TV because rich people were losing money. That's Redestro.
He fought Shigaraki so he wouldn't be oppressed with taxes.
That was all over raising taxes over like, I'm gonna increase taxes on people making over $10 million. That's why he made the fucking Liberation Army.
To liberate them from taxes.
To liberate him from the new tax bracket.
Shigaraki like approaches him in Deika, and instead of a fight, he just lays down a paper on his desk, like detailing his numerous tax frauds, and is like, "Hey, buddy, this ain't gonna work out." And Redestro's like, "Oh fuck, activate the sleeper agents."
Shigaraki walks in, and they're fighting, and he's like, "Don't you think that you should contribute to the wealth of the society that's allowed you to gain so much personal wealth by paying the appropriate taxes?"
Actually, fun fact, canonically, Detnerat, Redestro's company, has made its fortune through plagiarism.
Oh my god.
That is canon. That is in the volume extras. He steals designs from the US and then just hopes no one notices, and when they do, he just throws money at the case until the US shuts up.
Nice.
Like, this metaphor is just getting better and better.
So are we saying that our accepting leftist kings are Mahito and Shigaraki?
One more similarity. One shall decay the capitalist system, and one shall form it back into a utopia post-revolution.
That's the plan. He's gonna decay it, and then Mahito's gonna transfigure it into the new communist society.
The dumb thing is, it works so well because all our like misunderstood main bad guys are like young people who are being manipulated by evil conservatives.
Yeah, by just evil old conservatives.
Oh my god. When Shigaraki was like living with All for One, he definitely had to watch Fox News all day.
Oh, for sure.
Shigaraki, Tomura, my dear, do you see that? That is what we call a minority. We don't like those. And
Come
Shigaraki's
here.
like, but what?
Come here, Tamura. It's time to watch Tucker Carlson.
Oh, God. Why does the thought of All for One watching Tucker Carlson fucking kill me? He's like, damn, Tomura, hurry up with your quirk homework. We have to catch the Daily Wire and InfoWars.
The O'Reilly factor is coming on. That's
like,
just all he does after he got fucked up by All Might, is he just sits at home and watches right-wing conspiracy media.
For one, like the
drinking out of a liberal tears mug.
His helmet, the inside, is just like an Iron Man ass screen. And he's just watching fucking Benjamin Shapiro. He's like, this Alexander Jones fella has some points. I have noticed the frogs have gotten exceedingly friendly with each other.
Tamura, the Hero Society is turning frogs gay.
Watch out for your buddy Spinner. He sure is very green and very friendly.
All for One sees Spinner at the prison, and then inside where Shigaraki can talk, he's like, what did I tell you?
All for One is not just a huge fucking like evil man, he's also a massive racist.
He's just a giant racist.
He thinks Spinner is just a frog.
Which makes him angrier because he's also a homophobe and he believes that the frogs are gay.
Tomura's like, so I got this one quirk user. He's really weird, but he can get very hot. And like, One for All is like, oh no, not you too.
They've got you too.
The frogs, the fluorine in the water. Tomura's teeth look so fucked up because All for One told him to never brush them because of the mind control substances.
Because of the mind control drugs that All Might puts. How do you think he's so popular?
Like the man, he's fucking only alive because he's plugged into like 30 tubes, but he's gonna give you a lecture on how the entire pharmaceutical industry is just a scam and how the COVID vaccine is just a microchip.
He's an anti-COVID vaccine.
Oh my god! All for One is definitely an anti-vaxxer. He's like, I just have an immunity quirk. Why can't everyone just do that?
Why can't everyone just get this? Why does the government want to track me with chips?
The thing is, we know nothing about the guy, and it would fit his character. Like, the funny thing is, like, he says, like, him and a lot of villains like him always say, like, oh, I just want to be evil because I like being evil. But, like, what does that entail? Like, is he just going to go and start harassing people online? He's like, oh, yeah, I'm evil.
He just goes and radicalizes people online.
He's like, I will be evil. And Shigaraki's like, what, through being racist? And he's like, oh, no, I would never. Be quiet, boy.
Shigaraki walks in and he's on Twitter on sock puppet accounts, like, as a black man in the Hero Society, I've never felt protected when All Might is around.
He has like 70 alt accounts, and they're all just about making up like fake bad stories about All Might. Oh my god.
He fucking guest stars on Louder with Crowder.
And he's like, I have a quirk that lets me fly, and you know where I flew? The Arctic. Those shits are not melting.
Do you know how cold it is there? Global warming, my ass.
If global warming is real, why does Shoto Todoroki have an ice quirk on? Seems pretty fake to me. Oh my god. I also like to think he's like a massive Puritan. He's like, Tomura, could your fire user is nice, but could you bring someone home who doesn't have as many piercings?
He's just fucking.
He's just like every shitty value in the book.
He really hated Magna.
Oh,
And
no.
Shigaraki was like, "Shut up, it's my friend."
Look, Dad. You either respect their they them pronouns, or I'm gonna start identifying as a fucking problem. Trans, by the way.
Oh, trans rights, 100%.
Yeah, like
Fuck you, all for one.
I sometimes just throw those out to make sure that anyone who follows me like understands that if they don't agree with that, they're not welcome. But I feel like wait, how many episodes are we in? Is it 17?
I believe this is 17. Yes.
Okay, I think
Or
after
maybe
17
16?
episodes. No, I think it's 17. I think 16 was last week.
We never know. Why do we never know? It's our show.
I don't know. We're just log on and like just let him rip.
That's why we keep ending up in this fucking.
But yeah, like I feel like 17 episodes in, they should know what political views we support. Like if they don't know at this point, like Jesus.
It is 17. You're right.
They're like, I really can't pin down like their political compass. Like, what do Zen and Oceans believe in? And we're just over here talking. So, what if All for One is a metaphor for how capitalism robs us all of our agency, and that's why he steals quirks?
These quirks are produced by other people, and it's getting exploited by the billionaire class.
Oh my god. I mean, that's the other thing, right? Like, Shigaraki is canonically an accepting leftist king because he had no problem with Magna.
That's
And
true.
even gets angry on her behalf. Like, damn, we really have uncovered the political subtext of MHA here. Like, unironically.
I cannot help but just keep picturing All for One at his house in like a bathrobe, just watching Ben Shapiro on TV talk about how Imagine is a communist song.
Like, he's still plugged into all the machines. He has his mask, but he's just in a bathrobe otherwise.
Yeah, just he's still got the mask and all the shit that's keeping him alive. But he's just in a bathrobe with a TV in front of him. It's just YouTube clips of Ben Shapiro.
Like, calls up Shigaraki over the intercom, and he's like, Tomura, did you know the election was rigged? And Shigaraki's like, that's not how it works. He's like, no, Benjamin told me.
Steven Crowder said that he found thousands of fraudulent ballots.
Yeah, in his backyard, nonetheless. These Democrats are getting bold. Like, also, this is like barely related, but I like to think that he always refers to everyone in their full name.
Their full, no nicknames ever.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I would not want to hear his take on Twice.
Oh god.
He's like, have you just tried not being mentally ill, young
just
man?
Tried getting over it.
Twice, Tomura's trusted companion. To you, I will bespoke some running shoes, so you might get some cold and fresh air and finally free yourself of this hoax.
So you might walk it off.
And then, of course, he must hate Compress because he's in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, that's all Hollywood liberals.
Yeah, that's all Hollywood liberals, and also not a real job. And then, I mean, he definitely doesn't like Toga. She's a woman.
Yeah, she's a woman who's equal. He's like, "Oh, you got a team made." He's like, "No, she's on the team." He's like, "We need to have a meeting tonight about this."
Alpha 1 is like, Tomura, your team is looking nice, but why did you have to shoehorn in the woman? Are you an SJW?
Calls him an SJW. It's forced diversity on the team. The League of Villains forced diversity.
The League of Villains succumbs to the SJWs and hires woman. Oh no, wait, she's an underage impressionable schoolgirl. The conservatives love those. I mean, what?
That's not wrong. That's less wrong than it should be.
What do you say? Is this where we close off?
It's probably a good place as any. Oh god. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to episode 17. We checked of Shonen and Chill. And we will see you guys next time.
Take care. Bye-bye.